to expect people to adhere to rules and regulations, if you don't explain to them, just very even fundamentally, and certainly anybody wants to have a more in-depth conversation with me or any other Rebbeim about the subject, certainly we're happy to do so. But let's be clear. You keep kosher, you would never eat a cheeseburger, you would never walk into a McDonald's. It's unthinkable because I'm a fundamental Jew, and I believe fundamentally in the mitzvahs of the Torah. Well, the idea of boy-girl relationships, the idea of going to parties and hanging out with girls, that concept is there's no difference. There's no difference, Rabbi Isai. It's the same thing. I know, again, maybe this comes to the shop. What's he talking about? The boy-girl stuff is a chumrah. The Shoman Negi is a volunteer club of people who want to be Shoman Negi. What are you talking about? So I'm this is going to do this very briefly, but I do not have a Mussar Sefer here, Rabbi Isai. This is not a Mesil Shisharim. This is called the Shulchan Aruch. You all know what it is. You've all learned it. You all know that the Shulchan Aruch is a halachic work by the great Rabbi Yosef Cairo, and he tells us the halachas of how a Jew lives and what a Jew has to do in all areas of life. It's an incredible work. And in this Shulchan Aruch, not a Mussar Sefer, not something that's nice, not something that's preferred, he says very clearly, if anybody in any way has physical intimacy with any of the arayos, okay, in Erva, right? We know the big three: Shvichas Damim, Avodah Zarah, and Gil Arayos. Gil Arayos. So what does that mean, Gil Arayos? So for some reason, everyone always translate that as somebody else's wife. A married woman is an Erva, but it's not just one case. Yes, somebody else's wife is an Erva, correct? But when you talk about Gil Arayos, there's a whole slew of over 20 relationships that are in the category of Gil Arayos. And a nida is one of those categories. A nida is one of those relationships. And if you chavak or noshak, if one person hugs or kisses or any type of benefit in terms of any physical contact, hareza loke. Hareza loke. Loke comes from the word malkos. Loke, he gets lashes. Okay, and the reason why he gets lashes, and the Mefarshim explain, I'm not going to go through the whole issue right now, but it's very simple. It's because the Torah says loy sikravu, just like the Torah says, do not eat milk and meat cooked together. Just like the Torah says, do not eat chazir. Just like the Torah says, do not eat fish that don't have fins and scales. That's why lobster, clam, we don't eat that stuff. To aver in the Torah, it's a lav. Or Rabbi Isai, it's a lav. Loke is malchus. Malchus means it's a lav, and the lav is oisikrivu. And the very next page, I'll just go one more, again, the same Shulchan Aruch. Tzarich adam lisrachek mehanoshim ma'od, says the Shulchan Aruch. A lot of you understand Hebrew, know what those words mean. If you don't, tzarich adam lisrachek mehanoshim ma'od, when it comes to keeping away from women of an illicit relationship of a woman who is in the category of erva, one has to be misrachek. Very unusual terminology for the Shulchan Aruch to use ma'od. Very rare that the Shulchan Aruch would use this language, ma'od. Stay very, very far. Just say far. Or just say don't do it. Because the Shulchan Aruch is telling us, yes, you're going to be living in a world, and not only in 2021. It's certainly a problem in 2021. But it's been a problem throughout Jewish history. Because Chazal understand this is a tough issue. And it's an issue that a lot of people will say, come on, he's extreme stuff, extreme positions. What are you talking about? It's all innocent. What's the big deal? Instead of walking on the boardwalk, holding hands, walking into the sunset. What a nice scene. Look at that. As the credits go up and the movie's over, and it's all nice. It's all sweet. We don't say that. For some reason, we don't say that about cheeseburgers. I'm not sure why. It's only a cheeseburger. Come on. What's this? For some reason, a cheeseburger we get. Rabbi Isai, there's no difference. There's no difference. If you come Shavuos night, you'll learn that it's even worse. But we won't go there. But clearly it's so different. Harei Loka, and everyone says the Shulchan Aruch is passing like the Rambam, who says Sikavru is a message of a Torah level. Do not hugging, kissing, anything of those physical aspects are prohibited. So, I mention this because I think you start having rules and you don't really explain the rules, you don't understand the rules. Well, this, what are they? What's the rules all about? They're just what? They're interested in curbing our freedom, curbing our lifestyle, and what do they care? It goes on after school. What are you getting involved for? Rabbi say, ma'od. We care because we care. We care because we want you to be successful. We care because we want you to be Torah-observant Jews, and we know the damage and the ravages of getting involved in these relationships, or what it does. And that's why the Shulchan Aruch says, ma'od. Because the Shulchan Aruch knows that when you're involved in these things, when you even take one step in the wrong direction, it could end up being a very, very deep dive in the wrong direction. So this is not about valid Torah coming up with rules that sort of, in this area we want to be very extreme. No, we don't want to be very extreme in any area. We want to just keep the Shulchan Aruch in every area. Do we always do it? Nobody speaks Lashon Hara in this building? Halavai, we hope. But we all say we shouldn't speak Lashon Hara. Do we all keep every mitzvah? We don't know. But we all want to bench. If we don't bench, maybe because we're forgetful, maybe whatever, but we all buy in. That's the halach in Shulchan Aruch. That's what we are committed to. Do we do it all the time? We don't know. But this is an area, for some reason, Rabbi said, it's seen as a chumrah, it's seen as an extreme position, it's seen as, come on, it's not practical, it's not possible, it's not this, it's not that, what's going to happen, what are you worried about? It's right here. Shulchan Aruch, black on white, to lav in the Torah, no different than a cheeseburger, no different than a piece of pork.